Welcome back to Evolving Waves, where we ride the tides of adversity to reach the shores of success. Today, we continue to explore the incredible journey of an entrepreneur who turned a homemade passion into a booming business. That is Joe Gallagher, aka Chef Giuseppe, founder of Apostioli. I hope I said that right.
You did.
I
Good
love
job.
it. I grew up in a town with a lot of Italians, so I had to get the accent right there. But yeah. Apostioli, the fastest growing sauce company in the South. From humble beginnings and a personal story of overcoming incredible adversity, Joe has transformed his love for authentic, all-natural Italian cuisine into a brand that is now catching the attention of major retailers, Joe, nationwide. So today we're going to uncover how he built this impressive food empire and the vision that drives him toward future success. So stay tuned, because this is a story of perseverance, innovation, and entrepreneurial spirit.
Before we get into his story, we want to quickly shout out our sponsor. Today's podcast is brought to you by Stingray Branding, a national lead generation-focused marketing agency that helps businesses generate an ROI from their marketing efforts, including web design, social media, Google search, email, automations, and more. Learn more about them at stingraybranding.com.
Joe, welcome back. Ready for round two?
I'm ready. Let's go. Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's go. I love it. So your homemade sauces, they have turned into a business for you. They're not even a business venture. They're a business for you. So how does that start?
Like we were saying in that last episode, I brought some spaghetti sauce to a meeting, and they loved it and encouraged me to try to sell it. So I started going to looking into farmers markets and getting all the registrations and the insurances and all that stuff for that. But in that time frame, I was sitting outside of a Piggly Wiggly over here on Otranto, and saw the support local sign out front, and I'm like, I wonder if they would put this on their shelf. And so I said a little prayer, walked in, talked to the manager, and they ordered 6 cases. I called my father. I'm like, Dad, you'll never believe this. They just ordered 6 cases. He's like, well, is there any other Piggly Wigglies nearby? I'm like, yeah, there's one right down the street. He's like, go there and see what happens. I did that, and they ordered 6 cases too. So I'm like, I guess I'm in the sauce business.
Do you remember exactly what you said in that prayer?
I just said, Father, if this is meant to be, let them say yes. If this is supposed to happen, this is your will, then let's see where this goes. I'm going to trust in you and give me the confidence and the strength and the words to say, so that I don't look like a complete idiot.
Seemed like it wasn't in his plan. It wasn't his will, because 6 cases were bought at each of the first 2 places you wound up going to. So then it becomes a viral sensation, I guess it's fair to say. You've sold thousands of cases of it.
Yeah, not thousands of cases. I sold 7,000 jars in 6 months with pending orders for many more thousands. Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so walk us through the process of developing this recipe without giving away secrets.
Yeah.
And how you ensure that they meet your handmade fresh promise.
So this is the sauce that I was talking about my grandmother cooking on Sundays. This is a sauce I grew up with since an infant, and every one of our family members would have their own, little spin on it, because nobody ever wrote it down. Nobody knew exactly what my grandmother was doing. But she was from Naples, Italy, and, having friends over, everybody that's ever tried this sauce loved it, so I'm the first knucklehead to actually write down the recipe and package it, learn how to process it properly so that it's shelf stable, and then here we are.
So it is a pasta sauce by nature. Is it versatile enough that it can be used like as a pizza sauce or with meatballs?
Yeah, it's pretty universal. So it's not a marinara. So it's considered a sugo di pomodoro, which is a thicker version of a marinara. But you can use it on pizza. Any type of pasta, eggplant parmesan. You could do chicken parmesan. All that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, I may have to may have to buy myself some. It looks pretty good. So what challenges did you face in getting your products into major retailers like Walmart and Target and Whole Foods?
So in retrospect, I wish I had thought of scaling the business before even going to market. That became the biggest obstacle, is keeping up with the demand that I didn't know was really there. I had an inkling because of what I was up against on the shelf, and my product demonstrations, the response that I was getting from from customers that aren't even our normal, what I would say the normal clientele, our ideal clientele, because Piggly Wigglies are on the lower income, and this is a premium product. So I was kind of afraid that they wouldn't be able to, afford it. But once they taste it, they can't forget that taste, and they become loyal customers.
Got it. So now your sauces are also endorsed by medical professionals for digestive health. So how does that work? That's not easy to do.
So I had my gallbladder taken out, and my doctor's like, you're gonna have to stay away from spaghetti sauce, anything fattening and whatnot. Well, this sauce isn't fattening. It's actually low calorie, no cholesterol, and it's actually low acidity too. So, I was in the doctor for something, I can't even remember what, but I brought a jar into to Dr. Carrie Breen, and she looked at it, she brought it home, and then she sent me a message. She's like, this is the cleanest, sauce product I've ever had. And I'm like, I'm eating this and I'm not getting sick. I'm not feeling like indigestion or nothing like that. And she's like, yeah, it's because of the way it's processed, and it's because of the clean ingredients.
So how do you ensure that it is processed to ensure healthiness?
Yeah, so I source everything pretty much locally, aside from the tomatoes. The tomatoes, because they're San Marzanos, they don't really have them here in South Carolina, but all the basil, the garlic, and all that stuff is grown in South Carolina. I get it from Limehouse Produce. So and then my process, everything is hand chopped, and just a lot of time and detail oriented when I'm preparing it. And like I said, 6 hours, 7 hours when the batch cooks for on a low heat. But then I'm testing it too, pH. Doing my pH testing and all that stuff too.
So slow cooking is one of the secrets to
Yeah.
it. You won't give away the rest of them, which is
Right.
good, because this may go viral. It's from someone else's name, but that's good. So, all right, how do you differentiate your brand in a competitive market? Because it's one thing for it, if everyone knows it, it's a lot easier to sell it if you can just get it in the hands of like a Publix or even a Piggly Wiggly. But it's another to market it when no one knows what it is, because you're starting out.
Right. So I had a couple advantages going into this because of my background in the music industry. People kind of knew who I was locally, and then doing the product demonstrations, I treated it kind of like a concert, just without the music. I'm interacting, telling jokes, all kinds of crazy antics to kind of stand out. So now it's not just about a Pastioli, it's the personal brand of Joe Gallagher Jr. too, and I'm kind of combining those elements, so it's like a all-encompassing type of brand.
Joe Gallagher Jr. still has some pull, huh? Still some name recognition?
I guess so.
Nice. Well, hey, I mean, if you've got it, you may as well use it.
Right. I mean, it's a performance. I'm going out there. I'm just, and I'm authentic. I'm real. I'm having real conversations. I'm even taking prayer requests at these things, so it's given me an opportunity to further my ministry work too, which I didn't even know I was doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess there's so many different things that can fall under the ministry umbrella that you don't have to think of it as it. But if someone else thinks of it as ministry and it helps them, then sure.
Right.
Gotcha. So how do you grow so quick? Joe?
It's just the hustle. I'm nonstop. I barely sleep. I have a lot of energy. So, I'm cooking this stuff from about 8 o'clock at night till about 4 in the morning, packing it all up into my Honda Accord and delivering it the next day. So I'm just all over the place, and I'm knocking on doors. I'm making phone calls to other retailers, setting all this stuff up. I'm just nonstop.
So how much sleep do you get?
4 hours maybe.
And you're able to function on that?
Yeah, but I'm slowing down. Now. I'm 43 years old. I think I'm going to be hitting a wall here pretty soon.
So do you have any interest in getting a little bit more sleep or adjusting your schedule in any other way?
Yeah, and I exercise a lot too. So I just have a lot of energy. I don't know how else to explain it. And I drink a lot of coffee too.
That helps.
Yeah.
That definitely helps. So tell me a little bit more about your upcoming ventures like Apostioli Farms and what excites you the most about that.
It's really a philanthropic type of initiative. So, Apostioli Farms, the vision came out of necessity, really, because when I stripped my capital, cash flow was becoming an issue. I had all these stores waiting for product. I couldn't keep up with demand. I'm like, okay, I need to do something here to mass produce this product. So I started reaching out to co-packers, co-manufacturers all across the country. I couldn't find any that would take on all 10 products in my line, first of all, because it's across 3 categories. So that was one problem. But also, these conversations, the relationships seem pretty cold, sterile, all transactional. Like, there's no emotional connection whatsoever. They just want the check. They'll produce whatever you want, the time that it would take was becoming an issue too, because I had stores waiting. I got to do something like now. So I backtracked, I pivoted, thought of Apostoli Farms. I started looking at properties, to grow the crops, harvest them, process them right there on the land, and go completely organic, like certified organic with everything, because that's a trend in the market right now, and also I'm already kind of halfway there. I'm already using all natural stuff, so it just made sense. So I started looking at properties, 80 acres, 100 acres, 200 acres, and these were all like raw land properties. And then I had some guy, and I talk about this in my book, who told me, he works for this Bank of Humanity or something, and they got trillions of dollars, so just go all the way big, like the perfect scenario. Like, if you could do anything, if you had a blank check, do that. So I started thinking, okay, well, I'm going to need a lot bigger piece of land. So I found one that down in Adams Run, Long Wing Plantation, 1,716 acres. And it had a lot of the infrastructure already. There's 15 fields already cultivated, ready for crops. There's already a structure out there with plumbing and electricity. So it was like the ideal setting. And it's 25 minutes from downtown Charleston, 15 minutes from Edisto Beach. So it could become this agritourism commerce hub for manufacturing, hospitality. But now there's a nonprofit element to all this too. And that's where the philanthropy comes in.
Gotcha. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about the philanthropy.
So, basically the function of the nonprofit would be staffing for veterans, ex-cons, and recovering alcoholics and addicts, also providing some temporary housing for them too.
Gotcha. Very nice. So does it set them up with any kind of work function?
Yeah, so the nonprofit would own the land and own the structures on the land, and then the for-profit, the manufacturing entity at first, Apostoli, would hire veterans, people in recovery, give people second chances.
Very nice. Okay, so yeah, obviously there are some big plans. There's already been a lot of growth in Apostoli Farms. So I want to ask you about the scaling versus commitment to natural quality and just purebred ingredients kind of debate, because we've seen other companies try to go from very, very focused on quality and successfully so to trying to scale and then quality falls off. How do you ensure that doesn't happen?
So exactly, that's a great question, and this is a hot topic. So all those co-packers that I started reaching out to and signing NDAs and sending over my recipes and all that stuff, when they made the samples, they weren't using a majority of the ingredients in my recipe, and they were adding different types of preservatives and stuff like that, and their process is like 30 minutes 40 minutes to produce what I've been. And some of the samples that I tasted were close in taste, looked completely different, and I don't know exactly what's in those jars, so that also turned me off. So now I'm talking with a co-packer locally that is not even a co-packer. They have their own brand of products, Bitter Milk. Okay, they have cocktail mixers of all things. I'm an alcoholic, and here he is making all these all these cocktail mixers.
He's not helping you out.
No. Well, it's fine. It's fine because it's just the mixers. So, but he's got the perfect facility to do all this stuff that I'm doing, and he really believes in the brand, believes in the story. He's a fellow Christian, and we have trust in a relationship, and it came through my somebody at my church. So like I knew it was kind of meant to be.
Gotcha. Very, very interesting. So what kind of advice do you have for anyone else who has any kind of entrepreneurial dream or spirit? And they can be of any age. They can be someone who's 12, 13, 14 years old and just thinks about what they want to be when they grow up, or someone who's in their 20s or even 30s just thinking about maybe giving their life a reset. What advice do you have for anyone looking to make a name for themselves with their own entrepreneurial venture?
So I think what worked well for me is that I took a product that I knew really well. I mean, this has been in my life, my entire life, so, and we're passionate about food in my family, it's something that we look forward to. Memories are created around the dinner table that, this food was at the center, so my advice would be, if there's something somebody's passionate about, like they grew up with, something that kind of seems outlandish, out of the box, almost impossible, if they could muster up the faith and start to imagine it already coming true, as and thanking whatever higher power for this company before it even happens, like as if you already have it, and start living like that, like envisioning and feeling the emotions associated with being successful in whatever it is that you're going to set out to do.
Got it. Okay, so as we're looking to call it a show on part 2 of your trilogy, Joe, how do you see the brand evolving over the next 5 and even 10 years down the road?
So there's a thing called the blue ocean strategy, right? And it's crossing into alternative and adjacent industries. So I have about 25 more products lined up, ready to go in cosmetics and all different other industries. And then, couple it with the book and the entertainment. So now I'm creating like a loop, basically, where things are crisscrossing, and now the foundation is bigger and wider, and deeper.
Gotcha. Oh, before I forget, how do you come up with the name Chef Giuseppe? Because that's not your given English name.
No. So my grandmother, she's a Nuzzolillo, used to call me Giuseppe. Like, get over here, Giuseppe. She would scratch my back. And when she'd slap me, when my hand is taking the bread and going into the sauce, she'd slap me. Giuseppe, get out of here. That kind of stuff.
So you remember that because I guess it is your grandmother who started this recipe.
Yeah.
So it does come down from her.
It does.
Everything. Your name, the recipe itself, it's all handed down from her. So you're keeping her memory alive.
Yep, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. So, and we've still got one more piece of this trilogy to go. We're going to talk about the wrap up, I guess, of this story. But as we wrap up this part of the story, remember that in the face of adversity always lies the potential for growth, resilience, and success. So join us 2 Mondays from now as we're going to wrap up the story of Chef Giuseppe, a.k.a. Joe Gallagher. Joe, always a pleasure, sir.
Hey, thank you so much, Neil. Thank you. It's a pleasure.